All right, that was a tune I wrote called Slam, and in writing the song, I wanted to go for a My Sharona type vibe with the riff and the drums, where the drum part would follow the riff in a melodic way. But in coming up with the drum part for the chorus, I wanted to incorporate an open hand approach with the left hand playing the hi-hat, freeing up the right hand to play the toms. If you think about Steve Smith with Journey's Don't Stop Believin', that's sort of what I was going for. So the chorus, I'm playing the hats with my left hand, the kick locks in with the riff, and I'm sort of mimicking the chord changes with my right hand. It goes something like this. All right, slow down, it's something like this. Now for the solo section, I wanted to incorporate a bunch of ideas inspired by others and brought together in my own way. For the first 3/4 of the solo, I'm laying a solid 4 on the floor with the kick, because to paraphrase Gene Krupa, even in a drum solo you want people to be able to dance. Now, I don't think people are going to necessarily be dancing to the song, but I still wanted the solo to have a strong rhythmic foundation. After the flam intro into the solo, I go into a tom-tom thing that follows the bass line. From there, I go into a Terry Bozzio influenced crossover figure. Here's those crossovers slowed down a little bit. At about the halfway point, I bring the snare into it to build the dynamics up, again doing a crossover pattern, really to add more of a visual element to the solo. I then end that section with a snare and tom figure, and I use that to transition to the next part, where I shift the kick from the solid 4 on the floor to offbeats to build a sort of faux, fake double bass feel. Now that last tom part is where, now for the first time, I shifted the kick drum from the solid 4s to the offbeat. That figure one more time is this. So up to speed, when I do it, I'm going from So now that I'm into this double bass feel thing, I'm doing that with my right hand between the floor tom and the snare drum, back and forth, freeing up my left hand to do a counter melody. Slow down, that double time, fake double bass thing is this with the counter melody on the tom. Then that brings us to the crescendo of the solo, rolling triplets between the toms, kick, and snare, again crossing over, borrowing directly from Buddy Rich and John Bonham, both famous for doing this lick. Now, as I mentioned, that was made famous by drummers such as Buddy Rich and John Bonham. And it's that lick is something that most drummers know, or most drummers should know, that rolling triplets between the toms, the snare, and the kick drum. Slowed down, it goes something like this. But you throw in the crossover factor, like Bonham and Rich would do, and it adds not only a different audio twist to the placement of the toms, but again, it adds a visual twist. I decided to use my Pearl Rhythm Traveler kit for this demonstration instead of my bigger kit to show how you don't necessarily need a massive drum set with 800 toms and 1,000 cymbals to play creatively. I got a Rhythm Traveler kit from Pearl for a couple of reasons. As a gigging drummer, some of the smaller venues I play are better suited for a smaller kit. Anyone that's ever played a little cafe or jazz club in Manhattan knows what I'm talking about. But also with the mesh practice heads that come with it, for example, if I want to work on something late at night, work on some parts or whatever, I can do it without waking the kids or the neighbors or having the cops called. And I can practice with a real feeling kit that's literally quieter than hitting a pillow. Everything I'm playing here today, including the snare and pedal, is a setup that comes with the Rhythm Traveler kit. The only exception is I threw my Sabian cymbals on instead of the ones Pearl provided. And again, I just wanted to show that a smaller kit with one cymbal, you don't need a huge budget or a huge drum set to make a huge noise.